I am fully in my bed, under the covers, under the duvet, pyjamas on, bra was swung off as soon as I walked through the door. Got my nighttime tea. I'm gonna reach behind me. I'm gonna grab it. Nice and cold. And it is 4:30. Sorry, I'm itching my back. See when your brass, proper digs into you all day and it leaves marks. I've got that. It's 4:30. It's pitch fucking black outside. I'm not made for this. I am not made for this. Anyway, I'm not even going to get started. I'm not going to be negative. I'm just going to say to myself that in 10 days time, not even, the longest day of the year will have passed. And do you want to hear something even more shite? My dad died on the longest day of the year, on the 21st. You know what, maybe it's not a shite thing. I see it in a more positive way. I'm really trauma dumping here. I see it in a positive way because I think he died on the longest day because from then on it was just going to get lighter. And he knows that Mum and I have seasonal affective disorder. There's my logic. But yeah, once that day's passed, I'll probably feel a bit better. But I think it's just the lead up to it. I'm like, firstly, it's dark as fuck. Secondly, your dad died 2 years ago around this time of year. It really is a wonderful time of year, guys. Am I right? Like I said, positivity, positive vibes, guys, positive vibes. Welcome back to another episode. I tried to record this episode yesterday, but my brain was total mush, and it was shite. I didn't even get to the point of the whole episode either. I watched it back and I was like, what are you even saying? None of it was articulate. So we're here again, and this time I'm doing it from my bed because for me it's 9 o'clock and I'm not leaving the house anymore. I've had my full body shower. I did actually leave my makeup on, which probably sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? That I had a body shower but I didn't take off my makeup because I just knew I was going to do an episode. And I watched back my episode that I did last week where I wasn't wearing makeup, and I was like, girl, next time stick on some mascara and maybe a little bit under eye concealer, okay? So here we are. I had a shower, I'm fully moisturised, I was slipping and sliding all over the house, and now I've slipped into my bed. Like I said, welcome back. I'm excited to be back. Doesn't sound like it from my voice, that's just because I've been talking all day at my job. I started all the way sitting up, and now I've just slid right into my bed and I'm properly just slouching back, and I've probably got a mega double chin right now for people that are on YouTube, but I don't have my glasses on so I can't see the camera. This week's episode I'm buzzing for. I'm really buzzing for it because I asked the listeners to send in their stories and they pulled through. I had to stop myself from reading them because I do this, I ruin it for myself because I get too excited. I can't wait to unpack. I should probably explain what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the horrors of, horrors, funny stories, all that jazz, of flatmates, roommates, neighbours, people that live in your building, stuff like that, uni halls. I'm talking about that because I think everyone has an experience of living with someone that's just gone terribly wrong, or has a horror story with a neighbour or someone in their building, or something along those lines. In uni halls as well, people are fucking crazy. I think especially because you can't really pick. We can't pick who you live with in uni halls. Maybe you can request someone to live with. I don't know how it works in the UK. I feel like that's something you can probably do in the US. But you just get stuck with these random weirdos, and they could genuinely be fucking freaks. And I've met a couple in my time. These aren't people that I've lived with. I had good flatmates, but I had some very interesting building stories. And also I kind of had this girl that I was stuck with in first year of uni who stalked a guy and came to Edinburgh because of this guy. It was a while ago. That must have been oh my god, that was 5 years ago now. 5 years ago I was in uni halls. That's fried. Oh my god, 5 years ago. But yeah, I'm going to actually adjust myself properly and sit up so I can speak clearly. But I want to talk about this because living with people can be really difficult, especially when you don't pick them, or you end up living with someone and it's not what you think. Because I think living with someone, you really get to know someone on a whole different level. I've been really lucky with my flatmates because I've always lived with my best pals and I already knew them really well, so I've never really had any issues like that apart from first year. But a rad little bitch in first year, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know her, I don't associate with her. She was mad depressed, she was not in a good place. She was in the past, but I was very lucky with all my other flatmates, but some of my friends have had an awful time with it. Some of my friends have lived with some crazy people, and just like other stuff that you hear of like flats, not even just like flatmates, the way people live, just there's only a handful of people that I could live with happily, harmoniously. There's a lot of people I couldn't. There's a lot of people that I couldn't. And I also really like my own space. I really do like my own space. I like some downtime. I like to be able to recharge my batteries. There's also quite a few people that I can be around while recharging my batteries, that I can like sit in bed with. We both go on our phones and we mind each other's business. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, I've had a very good time. And I say this a lot, but some people are fucking crazy. And that's why it makes for the best stories. I'm going to tell you 2 stories. There was one that I was like, shh, keep that on the down low. That's first year. And we're not getting into that. But in my 3rd flat in Edinburgh, my 2nd flat didn't get the justice it deserved. Did not get the justice it deserved because of the pandemic. It was a Class B flat. It was in Haymarket. It was so nice, and we didn't have any neighbours. Like, it was just really good vibes, but we had to move out. But my 3rd flat, I lived with 4 of my besties, and we lived, if you're from Edinburgh, you'll know where the pubic triangle is. For people who don't know Edinburgh or haven't lived in Edinburgh, it is basically these 3 strip clubs that create a triangle. So they call it the pubic triangle, and we call ourselves the pubic triangles. You get it? Isn't that good? It wasn't me who came up with that. I can't take credit for it. But we call ourselves the pubic triangles. And first off, the flat, we had an amazing view of the castle. I'll give the flat that amazing view. Walls are paper thin. We lived above the fucking pubic triangle. We were next to Grassmarket. It was a busy area. Apart from when it was like the second lockdown, it was pretty class because we were in the city centre and there was like no one about. But when everything opened back up, it was mayhem. And we had some really interesting neighbours. Some of the stuff I'm not even going to get into because it's like too weird. But we also had a really big problem with squatters and junkies. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word junkies, but that's what you call them in the UK. That's what you call them in Scotland. I'm going to say we had some problem with some people coming into the building and taking drugs. Using drugs in our building. But it was the close was very small and tight, and it wasn't a bottom floor flat. It was just like the bottom floor was the close, and then it was first floor, second floor, third floor, and there was only one flat per floor, so there wasn't that many of us in there, and a lot of people would come in and take drugs, and one person did a shite in the close. There was actually one time we were all heading out and we were going down the stairs, and I smell this smell and I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, it stinks, what is that? And it wasn't like weed or anything, like it was something else. And I go downstairs and there's just these 3 like people that are just sitting on the floor taking drugs. He was smoking a crack pipe straight up, and he turns to me and he goes, "Oh, don't worry, pal, it's none of that junkie shit." And I was like, that's okay, take your time, honestly, no rush in leaving, you take your time, because I shat myself. And all the girls are like, I don't know if you can do that here. They're like, don't worry, I'll be out soon. And I'm like, I don't want to tell anyone to leave. I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I don't want to put myself in a position where I felt uncomfortable. So yeah, we just had people coming in and out all the time. People pissing in the stairwell. When I say it, I'm like, we should have probably piped up and been like, you need to get out, like, this is not safe. Yeah, there was all sorts of stuff happening in that building. I really did enjoy like living in the flat, apart from like the noisiness and the strip clubs and the junkies coming back and forth and everyone taking drugs and blah 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 and people doing shites and pissing. Anyway, overall, great time in there. But there was this one time in particular I had to call the police because there was 2 guys that were in the building. And they were making loads of noise and they were like shouting and stuff. And I opened the door and I looked over, because we were on the top floor, and I looked over the stairwell. And this guy, one of them, was on the floor, willy out, injecting into his penis. You best believe I shot myself. I was like, oh my god. There are two guys on drugs, strangers that we don't know, that are in the building. We're a flat of just girls. The flat below, I'm pretty sure this is like around like a holiday time, and they were from Norway, so they'd all gone home. And then there was the first year flat that were fucking weird. We'll get into that. And like they were all girls as well. And so I called the police and I said to them, look, I explained the situation, and I say, there's a guy and some other one, I don't know where he's gone, that are shooting up in the stairwell. His penis is out, and I feel uncomfortable, and we're a flat full of girls. Like, what do we do? Like, can you please come? You know what this guy said? This is just not a priority for us. This is not a priority for you. This isn't a priority for you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll just go fuck myself then. I'll just go fuck myself. Thanks for the advice. Bye. I remember being shocked. I remember calling my mum. She was fuming. She was fuming about it. We were all raging. We were like, are you actually taking the piss? What if one of us like has to leave? What if there's an emergency? Like, oh, anyway. There's nothing else to say. It's done now. But yeah, it was just, honestly, see you saying all these things, I'm like, that flat was crazy. Then we had a squatter that moved in, and he left his dentures on the floor. Yeah, it was really a total nightmare. But listen to this. So like I said, first floor flat. So none of the buzzers worked, which is so bizarre, isn't it? Like, you couldn't hear anyone on the intercom, like, ever. Like, I don't think it had ever been a thing. So you could only buzz people in. So when we had people over, we'd say, text us when you're downstairs, and I'll buzz you in, because we keep getting people coming in and taking drugs and shitting everywhere, and people moving in and leaving their dentures, you know? So this is a fun time for us. And I remember it got to the point, it got so bad that so many people were coming in and like abusing our stairwell, that one of my flatmates went down to the first floor and the second floor flats and was like, listen, like, can you please make sure you know who you're letting into the building, because we're not letting people into the building. Like, the only way you can get in is someone buzzes you in. Like, it needs to be something like this, and there's people pissing in the stairwell. Second floor flat go, oh my god, of course, like, we haven't done that, but we'll be like extra careful with letting people into the building. The first flat go, oh, we thought it was you. And Sophie's like, oh, like, us, like, Sophie, my flatmate, like, us, like, letting us into the building. And the girl goes, no, like, pissing in the stairs. Do you think we're savages? I remember being like, what? That full flat of girls thought that us Scottish girls were just so crazy and minging and dirty, like, savage, that we were pissing in the stairwell. I remember being so offended. So I was like, do I look like someone that pisses in the stairwell and does a shite? Oh, I'm laughing about it now. It's so ridiculous. How ridiculous is that? I'm so offended. I don't have to say that though. Oh, I thought it was you. Oh, I thought it was you that was pissing in the stairwell. Oh. Yeah, so I never really had any other problems after that. That was the only problematic flat that I've had. And that was because of the people of Edinburgh. Honestly, I think Edinburgh's got more crazy people than Glasgow, and that is saying something. But I really do. They're a different breed. I'm telling you, they're different breeds. Before I get into listeners' amazing messages, there's one story that I want to talk about again, because it's actually the girl that I had on my first episode ever for Gift of the Gab, Martha, shout out to you, Martha, told me this story, and it stuck with me to this very day. It's basically the story about this group of boys that were living together in a flat in Edinburgh, and they were all getting really, really ill, like super ill. They didn't know what was going on. Their mums were all like, what, like, are you looking after yourself? Are you going out too much? Like, are you putting the heating on? Like, what is it? Like, are you eating well? Why are you all so ill? And they were getting really, really sick. But then whenever they'd go home, they'd get better again. And as soon as they went back to Edinburgh, they were like getting sick really rapidly, really quickly, all over again. And the mums were like, something's not right. So they came to Edinburgh. I think these boys might have been English or something. They came to Edinburgh and they came and cleaned their flat. talk about mummy's boys. My mum would never. They came and they cleaned the flat for their boys, and they're cleaning the flat, and clearly this flat was disgusting. And one of the mums opens the kettle to clean it out. There's a dead fucking mouse in there that they'd never cleaned out, and they just kept refilling the kettle through the little hole, and they were boiling the water with the dead mouse in it, and that's how they were getting so ill. You could have died. Any of them could have died from that. How crazy is that? How disgusting is that? Oh, it makes me feel sick every time, but I needed to mention it again because it's such a good story. When she told me, I was floored, and you should know the amount of people that I've told. Great story. Thank you, Martha, for providing that. If anyone knows about this, leave a comment or DM me. Tell me who these people are, because they're grotty. We're staying away from those boys. Ugh. Disgusting. I hope that everyone cleans their flat. I've been into a couple bad flats. I'm not going to name names, but you probably know who you are. That's what I'm saying. Right, it's time to get into listeners' ones. I'm so excited for this. In second year, I opened my freezer to get some curly fries, and there was a frozen shark fin in there. Where are you from? Where are you getting this? I feel like that wouldn't be unusual in some cultures, but let me go into your Instagram, girl. Let's see where you're from, because that's weird. Oh, Dubai. Wait, Glasgow born, Dubai raised. Oh wait, sorry, I totally exposed you there. Oh wait, no, you live in Edinburgh. Right, that is weird. Who's getting a shark fin and putting it in their fridge? Right, that is very weird. You're going to have to ask this person where they got that from, because that's bizarre. Anyway, my first ever flatmate charged me £2 an item if I wanted to use her countertop freezer. That is ridiculous. £2, you got any business going on? I would do that. No, I wouldn't do that. I'm not a dick. That's funny. My neighbour walks her cat. Enough said about her. That is a bit weird. But then also we walk dogs. But then they're really not the same to cats. But that is weird. To be fair, I've seen a lot weirder. I saw someone walking their guinea pig in the meadows. Like I said, Edinburgh people, different fucking breed. A guinea pig. Bizarre. I walked into my friend's house to catch him watching his own sister strip on Babe Station. Oh, some people are weird. Okay, that is vile. What did you say to him? That's so vile. What did you say to him? Are you still friends? Well, I mean, you said my friend, so he must still be your friend. Have you talked about it? I feel like that's something a guy wouldn't speak about. I feel like that's something that you would just ignore. Oh, that makes you uncomfortable. That's horrible. I need to move on. When our Tory neighbours thought the junkies in our stairwell. Oh, this is my flatmate. When our Tory neighbours thought the junkies in our stairwell were A, our drug dealer, B, that we were the ones pissing on the floor. Yeah, I forgot to say this. They were like, is it not your drug dealer? I was like, sorry? They actually thought we were like savages. Oh god, they were so bizarre. They were so posh. Ugh. Current flatmate in Halls, American, very rich, hasn't washed any of his clothes yet or cooked a meal, all takeaways. You start uni in September and he hasn't washed his clothes. That's vile. So, this is the thing. Some people leave and they go to uni and they just don't realise that, like, you have to just, live your life and look after yourself. The amount of people that I know that brought their washing home to their mum, or their mum came and picked up their washing. One of my pals, her flatmate in first year, his mum would come off and drop off a food shop and like meal prep for him and take all of his washing and like bring the new one over. And you know what? They're all men. All men. What a surprise. No one's surprised. Next one. I'm thoroughly enjoying these. Had a flatmate in uni who took a shite in a bin bag in their room. To be fair, no. Why am I saying to be fair to that? No. To be fair, nothing. No, that's disgusting. Two of my flatmates last year used to shag on our kitchen table. That's fucking strange. But is it though? See, when you're in uni, I don't know what, really shouldn't be justifying this, but I'm just like, heat the moment. like coming back from a night out. But see, one off, yeah, but not all the time. She's saying used to shag as if it's a reoccurring thing. That's weird. I mean, like a one off. I really shouldn't be encouraging this. I sound like a freak. Move on. First house. Heard flatmate cheating on her BF with some guy like every week. I've heard that too. Heard the same guy shout no a while after the sex. A while after the sex. And heard my flatmate say it's all over the bed and realised he'd pissed the bed. The amount of people I hear about their boyfriends pissing the bed. Guys, kick them out or dump them. That's mean. Flatmate didn't know how to work anything or look after herself. That's a common thing. Couldn't boil a pea. She also never changed her bed or hooved her room. Disgusting. Ugh. Some people need to get a grip. In reply to horror flatmate stories, this is awful, right? My first year flatmate got pregnant by her current boyfriend at the time, and she wasn't going to keep it, and told us that at the time. She came back one night and said she got the pills, and she still had one more to take. A bit later on, she came through and said that's the baby flushed down the toilet. Me and the other two flatmates were sat in shock. Right, that's one way to go about it. Yeah, what the heck are you going to reply to that? That's something you keep to yourself. And also really insensitive. Right. Went on a night out in first year and ended up going to an afters, as you do. Anyways, came back to my room in my halls and my flatmates had reported me missing to the uni, and the security team were in my room trying to find clues. They called up people that knew me and asked if I was doing okay. When I got back, I had to explain that no, I had not run off and I was for the most part mentally stable. And then they made me attend counselling sessions. This happened twice more when I was in first year. Nice to know my mates were concerned about me, but also did just make the walk of shame that much more embarrassing. That's so dramatic. Counselling session as well, then you're like, no, I literally just went to have fun, and after say like you're depressed, you're anxious. Counselling, you need counselling. Get into that therapy room, girl. I'd probably be quite annoyed at my flatmates. I'd be like, can you chill out? Basically, someone tried to crawl into my bedroom through my window whilst I was studying in my accommodation. The curtains were closed and they must have thought nobody was in. Lucky for me, the window doesn't open enough for someone to fit through. I would shit my pants. And I'd also kick the shit out of them. I'd be screaming, kicking, and be like, get out. That's really creepy. Ugh. Also, yeah, windows in the uni halls are absolutely shite. Windows in uni halls would never open. They were so annoying. Here's another one. My friend, when they were in first year at Aberdeen, went to the uni library for the day, comes back at 5 p.m. to find all their food from the freezer lying defrosted on their kitchen table, and it turned out their flatmate had gone through and taken out everything in the freezer that was past the use-by date, forgetting the purpose of the freezer. To be fair, I'm so thick that is something that I would do. But also, you would be so fuming. I'd be like, give me back 50 quid. Give me back 50 quid for all that food that you have wasted. Here's another one. Came back from Christmas holidays, 6 weeks almost at home. That's a really long time. During second year, and found out my flatmates who had stayed there over Christmas left food out on the counter in the kitchen. Oh, I know where this is going. And let it go mouldy. Didn't clean it at all or take the rubbish out for 6 weeks. Oh, place was a mess and stunk so bad. They also complained when another flatmate's mum stayed a few days and kindly helped clean the kitchen, but they got annoyed because she moved some of their stuff. Your flatmates sound like fucking dirty freaks. Sorry, that's vile. That is so vile. Clean up after yourself. You know what? I've actually fired through these so rapidly, so I'm on to the last one. How many minutes in? Short wee episode. Flatmates. I had to move out of my flat with a week's notice and panicked so bad, so I went on a Facebook page, Flatshare Glasgow, something like that. Basically, you can find flats or just rooms in Glasgow surrounding areas. Because of my age and circumstances at the time, I was looking for a room as I didn't have money for a deposit. I found one in the city centre and it was like $250 a month, no deposit, and I was like, oh my fucking god, yes. Went and met the woman and was shook when I met her because she was literally 52 and looked like she was in her 30s, but she just wanted a quiet life and help with rent and said she was barely home, so I was like, okay, slay. Also, $250 a month, no deposit on a room in Glasgow. Not bad. I would absolutely be taking that. Told her I had a girlfriend and if she'd be allowed to come over, and she was like, yeah, duh, no problemo, girly, slay. So I was like, okay, slay. I love how this is written. I moved in the same night I met her. Okay, that was rapid, because I was like, fuck it, live my life, need somewhere to stay pronto, this is the only option. I was in the flat for 2 days, working from home, and she didn't leave once, kept coming in my room and laying at the bottom of my bed to talk to me, even when I was on work calls and was fully talking, so I felt so ox to tell her to stop. But she was constantly talking to me, was buying me gifts, leaving them on my bed, making my bed if I wasn't home, and then asked if I wanted to watch a movie one night, and I said sure, and we were mid-watching the film and my girlfriend phoned to say she was going to come see me. And she got like, not crying upset, but started rambling about hating being single and wishing she had explored more in her younger years. Anyway, I stay for another week or so. When it gets to the point where it feels like I'm living at home, she needs to know where I'm going, what time I'm home, and won't leave me alone and keeps buying me random gifts. Then the heating broke, so a guy came to fix it, and he told the guy I was her daughter. Ended up she told everyone I was her daughter, and the whole time had wanted someone young to move in so she could fulfill motherhood. Quite sad, but convinced she would have done worse if I didn't move out when I did. Heart emoji. That's like something out of a fucking horror film. That's like something out of a horror film. That's absolutely terrifying. You've killed me with that last one. You've absolutely killed me with that last one. Oh my god. Well, thank god you moved out. That's so scary. Like I said, some people are fucking batshit crazy. That sounds like a very lonely old woman. But like I said, crazy. Good thing you moved out. I genuinely think you would have ended up like in her freezer or something, and she would have worn your skin as a dress and maybe took off your face and worn it as a mask. I don't think she wanted to be your mum. I think she wanted to be you, babe. Weird vibes. Weird fucking vibes. Right, I'm sinking back into my bed. Oh, I've really fired through those. I absolutely fired through them. And like I said, I love getting to read out people's stories. I love a short wee episode. I'm literally now going to log off. And I'm going to go for a nap. I'm going to even, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read my book that's underneath my really cold tea that I've not drank any of. It's called Powerless. It's a smarty fancy book. I don't care. Let me live my life. Don't judge me. I'm actually about to pass out. I'm so shattered. I've been up since 5. And as soon as I got to the door, I went, record your podcast. It is now like proper nighttime, dark outside. I'm going to go open my advent calendar. I might crack open that new tub of Biscoff I've got. And I'm actually going to like switch off my brain and read my book. Or I might just watch Netflix, to be honest. I just want to be able to not concentrate. I feel like a blob. I feel like a fucking blob. But as always, it's always a pleasure doing this podcast. I just love it. Thank you all so much for listening, watching, subscribing, following, giving a 5-star review. Love you all. Big kisses. Bye bye. I'll see you next week.